So let's talk about some of the deals this week that we had funded. And today's only Wednesday. We had a florist in Nevada, $30,000 funding. They needed funds for inventory. This is their fourth renewal with us. Man, they're here and they're going to continue doing business with us because we're quick. She's going to put a 5-star review on, if she hasn't already done so, on Trustpilot. Then we have a trucking company, 21,000. He had a broken trailer, needed the money real bad. We actually got him all that money in the same day that he applied. We had a retail store here in South Carolina for $81,000. They needed for expansion, misspelled expansion, excuse me there. But they needed it for that and didn't really go into a lot more detail. But here's one that got a 2-year deal on 81,000, paying about in the high teens, low 20s for the money annually. Then we have a restaurant in Louisiana. They needed for some new furniture for the bar area. I had a great conversation with them. They're excited about doing business with us. We had a home health care company, 95,000 in the state of New York. This is their third funding since October of 2023. The reason they continually come back to us is many months, and that's why I keep talking about healthcare, home healthcare. The home healthcare and healthcare facilities are really good. They're easy to find these people, and they always need money because the government payments are late. And when they don't have that, they still got their bills, and so they use the money for a period, and then they pay it back. Then I had a restaurant in Maryland that needed funds to advertise, hire two new service agents, or it might have been three. I put two. Had a landscaping company in Georgia for 12.5. He just needed it for a mower. A construction company in Alabama for 60,000 for paint and trim. I think that might be a duplicate from last week, but we got it funded for them. We had an electric company on one of my brokers that agents that I had recruited. This is her first or second month, and this is her second or third funding. It's an electric company in Florida. They needed working capital. And then we had a therapist. I think this might be one from last Friday as well. 25,000 in California, and they need working capital due to late insurance payments. We are going to be talking more and more and more with your clients about the use of funds whenever we bring these offers up. We've really have been taking all of our scripts that we're using and really enhancing them with different ways to get the client to understand the value of the use of funds. And we're going to be training a lot more with you guys because that's something that a lot of our brokers, the successful ones, they talk a lot about the use of funds. What are you going to do? What's going to change your business by taking these funds today? And a lot of times you're going to get them where, like on this uh, one restaurant in Maryland, they took $25,000. They need a little bit more, but they just didn't qualify for that. So we don't talk to them about tranche funding. We talk to them about stage funding. How this 25,000 can help you right now. Why pay for the other 25 when you don't need it right now? In 60 days, we can get you another 25,000, and we start talking about what are you going to do with them? How is this going to help? Man, this sounds like you've got a really good plan in place. So we're going to be spending a lot more time doing that. I keep going over these types of businesses, and at the very top of the list is construction. And again, these are all the different type of businesses, and they chose to move forward with us for $75,000 on the with the 100% prepayment discount addendum. David mentioned this the other day, but they accepted the offer. They took the 75, and that was on December the 23rd. All right. Well, listen. Um, I just want to make sure everybody understands how the whole system works. I know you do because you're pros, but our lenders on the Bank Greasy platform, they all determine the client's funding amounts. It's never determined by us and what the factor rates are, and they do all that by assessing what the business financial health looks like through cash flow, and primarily they evaluate overall revenue as this produces insight into the business's ability to actually repay it. And then it talks about lenders also consider the length of time they've been in business, the industry type, what kind of existing debts or financial obligations that they may have. And ultimately, the funding amount is tailored to each individual business based on an awful lot of different factors. But the pro tip of the week is, people are asking, why is it that I submit a file, they're doing this amount, and I'm getting 25%, not even 50% of their monthly revenue? I want to give you some factors that come into play. Number one is the credit profile. If it's really, 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 really bad, so or even not so great at all, and it's not extremely bad, that's going to determine how much that each one of these lenders are going to risk. Of course, the industry type makes a difference, whether it's trucking, real estate, or a healthcare facility. The number of positions is a big one, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. The number of deposits, we have one today. I'll tell you a little bit about on their deposits, and then of course what their daily balances are. When it comes to FICO score, if it's below 600, it becomes a higher risk funding for almost every lender out there. So they're going to take that in consideration when they're looking at the file to see whether or not it's going to be 100%. And here are some of the high risk industries that are out there, like transportation and trucking is probably number one. Real estate, seasonal tax preparation, where they don't do any other type of accounting. They just do it during that season. Consulting, when we don't really know what the consultants are doing, we have to get more information before we submit it to be able to get a better look. But if they're doing 50,000 or higher, that's okay. Anything in energy and solar, because these solar companies pop up and go out of business very, very quickly. Credit repair companies, especially if those companies aren't legally compliant with the federal regulations for them. Certain financial services, and of course, family farms. These are all high risk ventures. So that makes a difference in whether they're going to get 100%. Then the number of positions. If our funding is a second, third, or fourth position funding, which we do all the time, then all the other positions that are head up can really factor in what they really can afford to pay. So if their debt to income ratio on just the funding, not on all their other bills, is 35% or more of the total amount that they're doing in monthly revenue. For example, if they're doing 100,000 a month in revenue and 35,000 of it's going to pay back positions in the system, then that's going to create problems, and that's going to determine really how much they're going to be able to afford. And then, of course, number of deposits. A lot of our lenders, well, almost all of them require 3 to 5 deposits. The A lenders, they'll take a minimum of 2. Some of them require 5. And the reason you want that is because I had a situation today. Their deposit didn't hit for the month of April, but it went into the month of May, and the month of May is huge. But because it didn't hit in the month of April, they really could not. They only had like 11,000 in revenue, and they already have other positions, so they really for that month couldn't afford it. Fortunately, they have such high balances on a daily basis. It was able to cover all that, and it's not an issue. But daily balances is a big deal. A lenders like to have 1,000 in daily balances, but I want you to look at this. These are the May bank statement of a business that they were wanting to get. Let me make sure there's nothing to identify this business, and there isn't. They wanted to get in a funding of $50,000. Well, you're looking at their May bank statement summary.